Full circle. Well, Sean Snyder, obviously, I want to tell you, it's delighted to be here. It's an unbelievable experience so far. The team, the coaches around here are just top notch all the way around. So as we get going and as I start learning names, faces, and kind of the dynamics of the team, right now it's just all new and kind of starting to get things set in. So with that being said, we'll open it up. And
your dad obviously coached with Kay in 1966.
It was, yeah, ways back. It was 70
Did he
something.
ever relate to you his experiences of coaching with the USC football coaching regime?
We talked a little bit about it, but since he was at the time he was a GA, and it was, and I was so young. I mean, we just had mild conversation about it, but nothing specifically. So.
As a former punter yourself, what is your philosophy as far as what you encourage your punters to do? You go for direction? Do you go for anything specific like that?
Yeah, really with the punters and kickers, everything's about control. So yeah, direction, hang times, where we're trying to get the ball to. Operation times are really important. Want to make sure we're doing a great job with our operation times and setting that in. So technique-wise, we'll do a lot of stuff technique-wise to enable them to be a little bit quicker with what they do, and obviously the directional of what they can do. I haven't been on the field with them punting yet and kicking, so I don't know exactly. I've seen film, but until I get out on the field and see what they do, it'll kind of wait and see. But yeah, that everything we'll try to do will be directional and controlling the ball, making sure we're doing things to get our cover units in the best situation to succeed.
Sean, you spent a lot of time at one school. What was it that finally made this opportunity right as far as the fit and Coach Shelton, all of that?
Well, I tell you, going through a couple interviews at a few other places, me being not on the field as a coach at Kansas State, that was in an analyst role. I wasn't ready to go that route, and so getting back on the field was really important to me. I got to say, when Coach Helton called, we'd had several conversations, but he is a very genuine, straightforward person, and it fits the mold that I'm used to, and so to me it couldn't have been a better fit. It was gosh, we probably spent a month and a half in conversation, and so by the time we wound up getting to that point where he was ready to do something with special teams coordinator, it felt comfortable. It's a good move.
He tried to recruit you the whole time. Took a month to recruit.
Well, it was off and on because he was in the process of hiring other coaches, but yeah, it was the whole process was a little lengthy. Even with the other schools that I interviewed with, it was just a long process.
What did you learn about Clay in your time since you've arrived here?
That he is who he is. I mean, there's no false sides to him, and so everything that that we've talked about, that we've addressed, we've stayed on track with. He's got leadership is terrific. His approach with the team is terrific. His approach with the coaches is terrific, and so. It didn't expect anything different, but he stayed true to who he is, and that's the best thing I can say. He is who he is.
Coach Snyder said that you are the most detailed coach that he knows. What are some of the important details as a special teams coach to you?
Well, a lot of things. Try to keep the special teams. We use the word simple. Try to keep it to where it's very understandable and fundamentally sound. So I'm big on fundamentals. So we're gonna, from the beginning to the end, we're gonna do fundamentals all the way through the season. So there's a lot of teams that'll start fundamentals in the beginning of the season, then move on and just do all teamwork as they go and scheming. My philosophy is to keep the fundamentals sound. And so if you're not working on those every day, just like you would at another position, if you're not working on those every day, you're going to tend to lose the fundamentals of what you're trying to do. And not to mention when players are going from their position, a team, then we have a special teams period. I mean, their minds are all over the place. And so want to keep things in a solid routine for them so that they know what they're doing, they know where they're going, they know how it's going to get done, they know what the expectation is, so they're not trying to process a whole bunch of stuff that surrounds them that doesn't involve what they need to do. So that's
New coaching staffs are kind of hesitant to talk about what happened before, but do you have any sense of, last year was a really difficult year, special teams wise there. Do you have any sense of, do you look at the film and try to get a sense of where you have to go from there to where you want to be?
Well, yes. I mean, last year, and same, I can relate this to Kansas State as well too. In 2018, we went through some injuries that plagued us a little bit on special teams, and I'm talking at K-State. So then, when we had some new faces on units, we would wind up with some guys getting out of place, not being where they're supposed to be. And to be honest with you, I saw some similarities in that last year. I can't speak to the injuries. I can't speak to the anything else, but where there were, a kickoff return that got back on them, a guy was out of place. So there were just things like that. I don't know if it was personnel changes or what. And to be honest with you, I'm a look through the front windshield guy. I'm not in the rearview mirror, but at the end of the day, I think it related to what we had in 2018. We just had some guys that didn't fit right, and whether it was on a return or whether it was on a cover, and just bad things happen. And so sometimes you get in that situation, and it's tough to overcome it sometimes. But and for us, it's going to be details. It's getting down to the fundamentals of details and making sure that everybody can play as fast as they can.
What have been your early impressions of Ben Griffith that you've seen on film, and your early discussions with him?
The conversations have been great, and that's one of the things that I really encourage players to do, not just the specialists, but the rest of them, is to come up and spend time with me so we can get one-on-one and watch film. Ben has been tremendous. I think he's got a huge upside to him, a lot of potential. So growth-wise, I'm really excited about. He's got a tremendous leg, and I can't wait to get out and just see it live. So our dialogue has been great. He's itching to learn. He's itching to get better. The work ethic is unbelievable with all of them. I mean, they've all really bought into my philosophies and what I like. So so it's good. It's been real good.
Going back to the process, did you see there was no need and reach out, or did your connection with Todd and Craig from the Big 12 kind of help initiate things? That kind of started?
No, I reached out to Clay just on a whim, just a text message that I was interested in, and then as time went, conversation started. So that was really how all that began. So, and I'm sure when Todd and Craig got here and when they had conversations about it, I'm sure that helped a little bit because of our tie-in in the Big 12. So.
How have you adjusted to the new kickoff rules and some of those changes? Are you a fair catch on kickoffs kind of guy, or are you...
Well, we scored 4 touchdowns last year, so no, I don't like the fair catch. The rule hadn't changed a lot. I mean, if we've got on kickoff return, if it's smarter to fair catch it, we'll fair catch it, and that all depends on how good we are. And then obviously philosophy too. That's one thing that we don't. We haven't got all the way into yet is philosophy on that. So once we go through here and develop philosophies on what we want to do. And again, sometimes it's, hey, we just need the offense to get a fresh start. We don't want to get them pinned back deep, so let's just fair catch it, get them out there and go. It hasn't changed anything for me. I like to return it. I like to, I'm not going to bring it out from 9 deep, but I like to give our return guys an opportunity to get down the field and make a big play. One of the things that I about special teams is when you can create big plays, you create emotion that just stirs everybody. Players on the field, players off the field, the fans. So those big plays are huge, not just scoring points, but they're impactful.
How do you weigh that, the potential for a big play, but then a disastrous play where would you rather be kind of even kill and you get the ball at 25 a lot, or is it okay to have big risk, big reward if you're having, bad things happen too?
Really depends on a whole lot of factors. If we're a really strong offense and defensive team, high risk, high reward is you can probably get away with. Smart football is smart football. So at the end of the day, you got to be smart about what you're doing. But it does weigh in. To me, a lot of stuff weighs in on our offensive philosophy, defensive philosophy, what Coach Helton, what his philosophy is. So there is some risk at times, but try to minimize that with fundamentals and smart play. So, and that's the thing that I believe Coach Snyder's probably referring to is we try not to making mistakes we just try not to do. Penalties, we just coach that out of them, so we're not getting penalties or making mistakes.
What's it like for you just starting over fresh after so many years in the
I'll tell you what, it has been, it has challenged me in every direction possible. And so I've been looking forward to this opportunity for a long time. When Dad came back for that second stint, I never thought he was going to coach as long as he did. So I was anticipating 4 or 5 years and then kind of making my break. It was when he was there, because I did so much with operations and then the coaching side of things. I was to me convicted to stay there and be a part of his time. I knew that I would have an opportunity if I did everything that I did there, an opportunity to come down the road for me, and I would take it when that time came. So I've been very fortunate and blessed to be in one place for as long as I have, and hopefully that happens here. I hope we've got an opportunity to stay here for a long time.
What was your commute like there compared to here?
Well, let me finish this one first.
What's been the most challenging thing for you about the change?
Oh, it's not the weather. Nowhere close to that. Just everything. It's just the getting to know all the players, getting my feet on the ground, changing everything over in my playbook. Just a lot of busy work. So that's about it. Now that we get spring ball started, the rest of it will be great. I'm just ready to get on the field and coach. So that's about it.
I'm just saying, how does your daily life, the commute, for example, is there even a commute in the Little Apple?
I had 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I got really irritated if I came in when school was starting and it took me 20 minutes. So when the traffic on Kimball got a little busy. But no, and here, everybody was telling me, you're going to hate it out there. The traffic's this. It hadn't bothered me one bit. It's no different than driving around Kansas City. You just got to be smart about when you're going. So last night I was heading out to the place where I'm going to be living at. They had the whole highway shut down, 110 coming back this way from a 4 or 5 car pileup that happened, and so it made me realize that I need to have 2 routes. Just make sure I have an alternate route when the highway gets blocked. So.
You have a comfortable couch in your office?
I'm going to probably have to get one. Yeah, I got one in there. It's just not long enough.
How do you coach the penalties out of players?
Well, a lot of it, because most of the penalties you wind up seeing is pushing the back. So it's about being smart, about understanding where your leverages are, understanding when and when not to pursue the block. And that's the thing that for example, if a guy loses leverage on a block and a guy gets out in front of him, there's no sense in trying to run through him and catch him. Go ahead and work to the next guy and let that guy go. And we've got some, got a couple things in place in the system where we can account for that. So whether it's a kickoff return or a punt return, so we can account for some of that stuff. It's when a player loses a guy and is given great effort and is trying everything he can to catch up and get to that block, and then at the very end of it, when the returner starts to come and that guy puts on the brakes and then you run into the back of him, you get a push in the back. So it's about being smart how to handle that situation. We'll coach that. We'll just coach them how you do it, deal with it.
How do you deal with having 10 guys on the field for an extra point?
Is there a certain method where they all line up, they're ready to go, so they're in the game? How do you avoid players?
Yeah, I don't allow 10 guys on the field, or 9 for that matter. No, we'll do a lot on the sideline as far as we'll have some help with collecting personnel, making sure we have everybody ready to go. So we do have a process in that to manage that. So, but yeah, that's just something that's not acceptable.
At what point in your career did you feel like you had a command of being a special teams coordinator and kind of trusting that you had every facet under control when you teach it?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't ever feel that way. I feel like that if I'm not learning something on a regular basis, then I'm cheating myself and the players. So I try to find weaknesses in what I coach and what I teach as often as I can. And so I think if you get to the point where you feel like you got it all under control, you kind of reach a point of complacency, and that's where I don't want to be. And so do I feel like I have a good grasp of what I'm teaching? Yes. Did I feel like it? I started on the field in 2011, 2012, 2013, probably got better each year. But I try not to ever get to a point to where I feel like, I've got it. All right, let's go, and we're coasting. So there's always a new wrinkle that you can find. I mean, everybody tries to do something different scheme. So there's always a new challenge.
Last year, there's been a lot of emphasis time-wise, how long special teams would be in practice. What is your philosophy on how much time do you need, and how is that going to be different in the spring compared to the fall?
Spring and fall should be the same. So during practice, we'll have a 5-minute period for field goal and field goal block, and then we'll have a 10-minute period. On alternating days, we'll do cover units on one day and then return units on the next. In season will be a little bit different as far as we'll do all 4 units on Monday, Thursday, and Tuesday, Wednesday will be cover units and return units. And then we'll go 10 minutes each unit on those days. And so, and then if we're behind or not getting some things done, then we'll probably add a little bit of time. Coach Helton's been wide open to anything. So, and that's customary what I've been doing over the last several years. So.
Time for one more?
What do you want to see in your punt return and kickoff return?
I'm sorry?
What do you want to see in your punt returner?
Touchdowns, a whole bunch of them. No, those guys with the returners in kickoff return. I'll say this with you guys not knowing the scheme completely, but patience and obviously speed. With the punt return, agility. Someone that's really quick, and speed, and good vision. I need guys with really good vision. So, and I think we got guys here that are capable of doing that. But those units are, those guys are only as good as the other 10. And so, as long as the other 10 are doing their job, I have no doubt that we'll be fine with what we do with the rest of the guys. So, but I have an all 11 philosophy. If they're not all 11 getting it done, then we're going to fail somewhere.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.